And how special that is that we have this virtual and physical space that we know we can come to where we will meet people of our kind, and the kind of folks that are also interested and curious about this inner journey, where it's like this way that we've stepped onto a path where we're really interested in minding the depths of what's going on inside of us, as we continue to walk this life, this moment, these hours, these days, and these years. But there's also that part inside of us that maybe have questioned or is still questioning the meaning of all this, or the part of us that has found something and knows that, yes, this is it, or maybe there's something here. There's something here, and I'm looking, I'm seeking. And it's just, as I was saying the word seeking, I was reflecting on um, a week ago sitting at a table with a Presbyterian priest and his wife. And his wife she calls herself a seeker. And she was asking me so many questions, pondering, within herself, but now sharing her ponderings and her questions about spirituality and the mystery of life and the suffering, all these curiosities. And that, as I'm sitting there, across the table from me was her husband, the Presbyterian priest. I looked at him and I knew I could get in trouble because she might like Buddhism. And I said, all all religions point to one truth, the capital T truth. And however we get there, what resonates with us, is so unique. How certain things that are said and how they're said and certain practices just stick and resonate and works for us. So Buddhism to me is like this device. It's not saying to believe in anything. It's this device that helps alleviate suffering. And, there's always this phrase like, don't take my word for it. See it for yourself. See it for yourself. Welcome. So there are questions that were beyond my capacity to answer because they were really out there. And I said, this is where the Buddha, when asked all these questions about the cosmos and about life after death and all these questions, he would say, these belong in the category of the unanswerable questions. And he says, what I teach is suffering and the end of suffering. And I said, I can't tell you how it's like, what happens when we die, because I've never died, at least in this life. So I can't answer those questions. But I've read some things and it made sense to me. And so I chose to just settle with that, certain things that made sense. And then there's also this part of us that knows of a kind of faith, a faith that lies in this trust. Maybe we haven't experienced something yet, or we cannot see that those few steps, the path ahead of us, but what we are seeing now with the path before us, the ground that we're standing on, we can trust that there's something there. So that trust is what moves us to continue to practice and cultivate. We know there's something there, and that little bit that we've tasted, the sweetness that we tasted on our path is where that trust continue to be watered, and that faith that energizes and keeps us going. That that's a faith is a spiritual power that keeps us going, that keeps lighting our path, keeps illuminating the way for us. And so it's not a blind faith because someone told us, but there's something inside of us that sense there's something here for me. And I reflect on how that was for me when I first had this conviction that I'm going to devote my life to meditation. I knew there's something here for me. I grew up around the monks and nuns, and even though meditation was behind closed doors, in the tradition I grew up in, we didn't study the four foundations of mindfulness much, or there were those that was exclusively for those who were ordained. But I knew from having spent time with them, I knew there was something there, and I knew it lied within, you know, taking refuge in the three jewels, and it lied in abiding in ethical conduct and then meditation. So as we gathered here, we are taking refuge in Sangha, in our spiritual home. And it's not made and shaped by a physical location, but it's by the energy that is gathered here when we come together in person and online. And you could have taken refuge in so many things today and at this time right now. But you've chosen to take refuge here among spiritual friends, amongst coming to practice together and to hear the universal truth be expressed through this way. So I'm happy to see you all. Happy that you're here. And then also I invite us to get in touch with this faith that we have, this trust that we have, whether it's trusting in ourselves or trusting in what's possible with being human, that there is this capacity to be free from suffering or to reach our highest human potential or to experience greater peace and ease and stability and equanimity. So that right there, that faith right there, I invite you to turn towards it and take refuge in the Buddha nature within yourself, and also having faith because we know that there has been a historical Buddha that has reached this highest state of awakening. So that too is available for us. And then taking refuge in the Dharma that is the truth of how things really are. When we come in touch with it, we are no longer suffering. So today I'll share more about this part about suffering. And also recognizing the Dharma within us through our own experience, verifying it for ourselves. Right? So as we practice, we're practicing to bring the Dharma alive within us. That it doesn't live in a book or a talk or somewhere outside of us, but we're getting in touch too, getting in touch with the Dharma within us. So meditation is this training that has us get in touch with the truth of how things really are, and we use our body, our mind, and our breath as the framework to realize that truth. So it becomes this direct experience and then becomes a knowing that is ours. So welcome everyone to Pacific Northwest Meditation Community. We are a inclusive community that supports the practice of meditation, study, and reflection of the Buddha's path of peace, compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom. We offer weekly sitting groups, affinity groups, retreats, and classes held in person and online. And our teachings are grounded in the Theravada insight, Plum Village, and Vipassana traditions. And sometimes we also enrich our practice and learning through offering teachings from other Buddhist lineages. Our vision is to continue building a community that supports a sense of belonging for new and experienced practitioners from the widest possible range of backgrounds, ages, races, ethnicities, cultures, sexual orientations, gender identities, socioeconomic classes, religions, political views, disability, neurodiversities, and beyond. We recognize that this requires ongoing effort and awareness. And I want to acknowledge our limitations as inside of this commitment of openness and transparency that we will at times make a misstep. And, on behalf of Pacific Northwest Meditation, I um, ask for your forgiveness. And at any time today in the talk or anything I say that impacts you, I invite you to reach out to me. Um, and I'm open to your feedback and to growth and healing and to this direction of, collective awakening. And here we are on the unceded lands of the indigenous peoples, including the Confederate tribes of the Grand Ron, Siletz, and many more. So just taking a moment to acknowledge how our very life is supported by those who have come before us. And that through our practice here and now, we can transform and heal for the future generations. And we envision a community that supports Dharma practice and study and a place of fellowship and service that collaborates with the local community and the greater community of Portland to realize collective liberation. And for those of you here in the room, there is a restroom across this hallway. And if you need to signal for comfort, please feel supported to speak up. If at any point in time you have a hard time hearing me, um, or the temperature in the room could improve, or if you need a quiet space, you're welcome to step outside. There's other rooms that are maybe available right now, and also a garden out back. And for the safety of our members and to cultivate a space in which all feel free to share. Racist, homophobic, ableist, trans, and non-binary exclusionary language is not condoned in this space. And it is our responsibility as a group when we hear something to say something as a call in to help both protect our members and allow growth, communication, learning, and connection. I find this to be very humbling because it's remembering that we all have our blind spots and our conditioning and the conversations that we were born into. And so this openness allows us to see our part and know our part. And if you're coming online, I invite you to add your pronouns behind your name. You know, pronouns are out of respect and an acknowledgement for those who do not identify with the binary pronouns that they were given at birth. And when we share, I invite you to also um, uh, share your pronouns. So we'll begin with a guided meditation. And then afterwards, I'll give a short Dharma talk, an offering and a reflection. And then we'll have time to open up the floor for discussion and reflection and questions. And sometimes along the way, I will pause and invite your voices into the space. And it's in this way, this dialogue, that we really um, dance and deepen in our uh, our understanding of the Dharma, but also to bring the teachings to life. So I invite you to participate as much as you would like to. Yes. And also, when we go into our guided meditation, know that you're welcome to shift postures at any time to really listen and honor your body. I oftentimes out in the world, we are conditioned to have to do certain things, that things should look a certain way. And when it doesn't look that way, sometimes we're hard on ourselves. And so in the practice of meditation, the first thing we want to practice is to give ourselves permission to move, to give ourselves permission to soften, to give our body permission to do what it does, and our mind and our emotion to do what it does. I was volunteering at the jail out in the Dalles, and the moment when I invited the men in custody to let yourself relax, I said, this is a safe place where you can actually do that. Let your body relax in the chair. Allow yourself to soften. You no longer need to harden up. You no longer need to harden that shell. It's like you can relax now. It's okay to do that here. So maybe for some of us, that's something we're already familiar with when we step into a Sangha. And then for others, it's like, oh yeah, I have to kind of shake some of that off. So if you need to, before we begin meditation, to, shake or move your body or stretch yourself to kind of loosen some of that tightness, that tension. That way we often carry this tension around. I welcome you to do that. And to find a posture that feels supportive and stable, simple, and maybe even easy to be in. Welcome. So that posture that feels good. And maybe that's a bit of a exploration, or maybe it's like just a slight subtle shift will allow you to feel that. So maybe that's sitting on the chair or sitting on the floor. For folks, I think of like personality types. Like I teach a mindfulness-based stress reduction class, and one of the things that some of us discover in this class is for those of us who are like often so, rigid when we sit, the practice is to do the opposite, to really soften and even rest and relax back, to cultivate that mind that is relaxed and feels that sense of ease. So some participants may almost want to um, almost like lounge, but make sure that you're able to stay awake. And for others, if we find ourselves falling into boredom or uh, falling into a sleepy dullness, it's like sitting at the edge of our seat as if we're getting ready to watch a very interesting movie or getting ready to engage in a really good conversation, a topic that we enjoy. So that kind of interest, right? So that kind of interest, but at the same time, relax. Any questions before we go into meditation as far as posture goes? Welcome, Daniel and Alana. I'm glad you're both here. And we'll sit for, well, the first part is just about 20 minutes. And after that, I will invite the bell. And you might decide to continue sitting or choosing stay in the posture that you've chosen, or you can transition to another posture. So sometimes here, sometimes we'll start with sitting here and then move to walking. So in that halfway point, that's a good time to kind of check in. Okay, does this feel right? Does this feel supportive? Or is this now a good time for me to shift posture because I'm really battling with something and it's not conducive anymore? And shifting posture might be, you know, the most supportive thing and kind thing to do, right? So again, this is this practice of tuning in, listening, honoring what's real for us, what's in our experience, and then offering ourselves that kindness, that care, that loving attention that gives permission and allows us to experience a sense of freedom in our body. So what we want to get to is a place where there isn't this concern about our body anymore because we've paid special care and attention to it. And then the body has received that attention and care. And now it's ready to rest and settle. And then now we turn towards the mind or deepening um, in our practice. Yeah. And if anything in the guidance doesn't work for you and you have a certain way you practice that feels more suitable, you're welcome to do that too. So I'll begin with some anchors and then we can move to, focus attention or open awareness. So whatever feels supportive and listening to the wisdom within and what works for you. So hmm, I'd like to start actually, we'll, we'll chant to stabilize the mind. And there's a chant here called the four boundless qualities. We'll start with this chant to ground ourselves. Um, would you mind someone pass this out for me? Okay. Yeah, thank you, Chris. And for those of you on Zoom, I will share my screen so you'll see this. And this is from the Thai forest tradition, the style of this chant. And you're welcome to just listen in. And the each of these phrases are repetitive, so you might start to get the hang of it. Uh, in growing up in the Vietnamese Mahayana tradition, chanting was a big part of my time at the temple. And actually, right now, out at the Abbey where I live, there's a huge Vietnamese retreat happening. And it just reminds me of home because the retreatants they're from the Mahayana Pure Land tradition, and my they wake up at 4 in the morning and they are chanting like hour after hour after hour, and in Vietnamese, Sino-Vietnamese, and I remember growing up with this and how stabilizing it was. Because when you're really focused on the words, your mind is not somewhere else. You're just here, one with the words. And there's also this encouragement growing up from my dad and my sisters when I would be chanting louder, louder. I can't want to hear you. And also when we chant and others can hear us chant and hear the vibration of our voice, it also supports them. So, and even hearing our own voice, our own vibration supports us as well into settling down. And I was thinking about this too, because when I was in the jail, I experimented with something this week where instead of doing the phrases of loving kindness, this time I said, we're going to do something a little different. And we sang the loving kindness song. And at first it was just my voice and my co facilitator. And then the gentleman sitting right across from me on the other side of the room, who was looking at me the whole time while I was leading the guided meditation, his eyes were open. He was curious and skeptical. I started to hear him hum while we were in the middle of this loving kindness chant. And then at the very close to the middle end, all of a sudden, I heard more voices joining me in this song. And then as we got to the very last phrase, bringing the metta, the loving kindness back to us, I said, if you feel called to, you can put your hand over your heart. And when I looked up, everyone had their hand on their heart. So, just the power of these words and the energy that's behind it and what it can do, how it can transform us, even in chanting. So I invite you all to join me, and I'll share this on screen here. Now let us make the four boundless qualities shine forth. I will abide, pervading 1/4, with a mind imbued with loving kindness. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere, and to all as to myself. I will abide, pervading the all-encompassing world, with a mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. I will abide, pervading 1/4, with a mind imbued with compassion. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere, and to all as to myself. I will abide, pervading the all-encompassing world, with a mind imbued with compassion, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. I will abide, pervading one quarter, with a mind imbued with gladness, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere, and to all as to myself. I will abide, pervading the all-encompassing world, with a mind imbued with equanimity, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. I will abide, pervading one quarter, with a mind imbued with equanimity, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere, and to all as to myself. I will abide, pervading the all-encompassing world, with a mind imbued with equanimity, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. Let us settle into a posture that supports stability, simplicity, and ease. And really tuning into what your body needs from you. Just like when we step into the kayak or canoe and it's a little bit rocky. So, really taking time and taking care on maybe rocking the body side to side, maybe stretching the neck, rolling the shoulders. And does this moment call for relaxation or for more energy? So if you're sitting in the chair, getting curious about what a stable posture feels like. So for me, it's having my 2 feet um, on the floor. I have a little uh, cushion that I have my feet resting on, and the knees are bent to a 90 degrees, hands resting on the lap or in a mudra. And maybe it's for you today, it's sitting, maybe it's standing, maybe it's lying down, especially for those of you at home. And if you're here, you're welcome to do so too. But and here in the room, if you want to walk, you can also, at any point in time, walk in a clockwise direction around the chairs, or identifying a lane if you're at home where you can walk for 10 feet or walk around a table. So, really, this way in which we practice mindfulness is not limited to one form or shape, honoring all of our bodies and what we need in each moment might shift and change. What's important is that we continue to cultivate this present moment awareness, softening, resting. Notice where the body makes contact with the surface. Maybe it's the sitting bone pressing against the chair, the cushion, or the floor. Noticing where the hands are resting and perhaps feeling the moisture or dryness in the hands, the warmth or coolness in the hands. You might notice the sounds in your environment, the sound outside the window, or the sound within the space you inhabit. And inviting in the breath, if the breath is available for you today. Oftentimes when we are not present and in a reactive state, the breath becomes shallow. Or if we're anxious, the breath becomes shallow and choppy. And so here we're inviting in this healthy breath. Maybe that breath is deeper and fuller. And so taking this time now to invite in that breath and see if you can enjoy breathing. So choosing any one of the anchors, whether it's the contact points on the body, anchoring into sound, or to the breath. What feels good? What feels easy to be with? Maybe awareness is switching from one anchor to the next. That's okay too. Whatever has you know that you're here. There's a body here. There's a body breathing. Relaxing the neck, soften the shoulders, loosening the grip in the hands. Trust that you're being supported by the surface below you. That gravity will hold you up. So there's no need to try to put that extra effort into holding up your posture. Allow the body to rest. Soften the muscles in the face. Soften the jaw. Soften your lips, maybe allowing a soft smile across your lips. Let the eyes rest in their sockets. Soften the forehead and the brows. Turning your attention inward. And continue to notice throughout this entire practice, anytime you detect yourself tensing up, see if you can invite in that softening. And your eyes might be open with a downward gaze. Your eyes might be closed to limit distraction, to really be able to get in touch with the internal experience. Whatever is present for you, can you welcome it? However the body is showing up, however the mind is showing up. We're not trying to do something with what is here. We're simply acknowledging it. And with this attitude of kindness, maybe softening to whatever's here. Coming back to our anchor of choice. Or to rest in that place where there's a sense of steadiness or spaciousness. Mindfulness is remembering, remembering when we're lost in thoughts, remembering to come back, to generate that interest and energy, to stay awake. And resting. And maybe to do this, you might choose to narrow your field of awareness to where you feel the breath is most alive in the body. And let your attention rest there, feeling the energy of the breath, noticing the breath arising and passing away without following the breath, just noticing the breath, maybe in the belly, in the chest, or at the tip of the nose. Or you might choose to just rest in open awareness, just like looking up at the blue sky, observing all the clouds passing by, observing thoughts, feelings, without analyzing them, without trying to solve them, just seeing their energy, seeing how present they are and how it feels like in the body. Noticing what's coloring the mind and not feeding it, just letting it be there as mindfulness watches, just like a gatekeeper. In a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bell, and you're invited to continue the rest of the sitting in this posture or to move into another posture. Being mindful of the transition, paying attention moment by moment. Wherever you are now, I'd like to invite you to bring your awareness to the heart center. We'll close with a loving kindness song and practice. Notice what is occupying the heart space. What's there? What does it feel like inside? Is there a tightness, a heaviness, a warmth? Maybe there's nothing there. See if you can maintain this curiosity and sense into what might be in that space. Perhaps sending the breath to the heart space, noticing any sensations that are present when you send the breath there. Or maybe there's a block or a tightness. Or maybe there's nothing. That's okay too. What wants to be acknowledged? What is calling for your attention? What part within this space wants to be heard and understood? And we begin by offering ourselves this kindness, the kindness that we often give so much to others, now really, truly giving it to ourselves, that we deserve. Our heart deserves this sense of ease and well-being, kindness and care. This longing we have to feel loved, seen, understood. This longing we have to be free from pain and suffering. We're sending this to ourselves. May I be filled with love and kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Now taking a moment to bring to mind those that you yearn to have a good relationship with or a better communication with. Those who are having a difficult time right now or struggling, maybe lost in delusion and pain and suffering, or someone that you have a difficult time with, knowing that they too long to be free from suffering. They too long for happiness and peace and ease. So seeing the suffering due to confusion and seeing the suffering when there is darkness, And so extending this heart of goodwill, of care and kindness in their direction. May you be filled with love and kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. Noticing what that does to the heart space. And recognizing that all human beings long to be loved, long to be understood. We all want safety and protection. Even those who are acting in violent ways, acting from the place of anger and pain and suffering, that they too long for peace and happiness. So extending this out to our loved ones, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors, our communities, our country and nations, and the whole human race. That amidst the sea of suffering, our deepest longing is that of happiness and well-being. So recognizing this shared longing and wish for well-being. May we be filled with love and kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. And acknowledging the thread of our very being is supported by all things, living things and non-living things, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, all the minerals, the elements of nature, of Mother Earth, and of the entire cosmos, that our very life and our well-being is dependent on all of these things. So we wish well for all, as when we wish well for all, that is for us as well. May all be filled with love and kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy. And bringing this back to us, realizing that our capacity to receive love and kindness and well-being is what we have to give to others. So as we practice growing this capacity to receive it and to send it to ourselves, knowing that we too deserve well-being, deserve our own kindness and care. And so if you feel called to put your hand over your heart, and we'll sing this one last time with I. May I be filled with love and kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Observing any movement of the heart, any settling, any changes. What's occupying that heart space now? What emotions and thoughts does it give rise to? Sometimes when we touch the depth of love and kindness, this door of compassion opens up, and it's not always a good feeling. It's tender, it's raw, at times painful. And we're touching into that thread of being alive fully, of what it means to be human, to know of these heart qualities and these exalted heart states, these states of heart and mind that has us remain awake to how things really are, to this human experience, and to what lies there in the heart, in the matters of our heart. So breathing in love and kindness and this abundant life energy, and breathing out, releasing, letting go of any attachments, any rigidity, and breathing in the suffering of those around us, and then breathing out, sending wishes of well-being, that as our heart grows, our capacity to hold the suffering of others allows for us to forgive and to understand, to let mistakes and wrongdoing be a part of life. And we continue to abide in well-being, abide in loving kindness, abide in goodness, in the possibility of forgiveness and compassion, which leads to a gladdened mind and an open heart. So as you rise from meditation, I invite you to continue to carry this way of kindness, this way you pay attention to your movement, this way you connect to your deepest intention, the intention to pay attention. One of the things that we discover on this journey of meditation is learning how to listen to our body and to hear our heart, what's weighing in our heart. So whether we feel it or not when we are practicing, the practice does something to us. So we recognize that it doesn't always feel good when we're practicing. We don't always come out having, some insights or feeling relief. But what we get in touch with is what is there, what's going on inside. So much of our time is spent looking outward into the world. So the practice of meditation is this training of the heart, training to see what is binding the heart, what is preventing us from having this understanding and compassion when it's hard for us to access that. I remember going back to that conversation with the the wife of the priest. She says, "So I get that I'm to have mercy and wish well for uh, the politicians." And she's like, I know that's the thing to do. I get that. But honestly, I cannot do that. I can pretend to say that I am doing that, but deep down inside, I don't really feel that way. So whether this is someone far or someone close to us, these relationships are what causes so much distress and pain and heaviness inside of our heart that binds us, that prevents us from being fully in the present moment, from being able to see things clearly. It clouds our view, it closes us up, and it causes us to harden and tense up. And so when we get in touch with first how the body tenses up, and we can finally get to the place where we can acknowledge the hardening of the heart, or the tension in the mind, we can start to see the stories that we have, the judgments that we have, and just the way we can paint such a vivid picture of our view of how things should be, and and also see how we close up and go into a protection mode to prevent ourselves from feeling hurt or being hurt by others. I'm thinking of today there was a quote that was shared. I think it was from Michael Beckwith. It was around love and fear, and how when we're not When we're not in the state or presence of love, we are in the state of fear. And I was reflecting on this for myself too. And noticing when we're how fear feels like in the body. That part of us uh, that puts up a wall, the part of us that, blocks, or the part of us that fight or flee. And when we are there, we're not able to first offer, others love. What the mind is in a state of judgment and assessing. And I notice when I am assessing or judging, I can't offer, I can't experience connection with the other person. And for me, that's like where the work is to be able to see if I want to connect with a person and I'm not able to, where is it that I have a view about them? Where is it that I have a story formulated about them? Where is it that I cannot see the humanity of them and see how we're alike? Where is it that I see them to be different than me? And when we practice meditation, we're getting in touch with the quality of our heart. You know, is there judgment there? And is the heart judging? Is it defending? Is it guarding? And how does it feel like inside? What is this emotional or feeling tone? Is there anger? Is there sadness, fear, or anxiety? And even there, as I mentioned earlier, even that feeling of compassion or love, it can also be painful. Can we stay with it? So practice is like building that muscle to stay with the experience, stay with the resonance inside of the heart. And our work is to not try to push it away. Sometimes when I'm working with folks, one of the things that is really mm, apparent in us is that, okay, I want to get to the solution. I want to be done with this already. So tell me the answer, how I can get rid of this, because it's unbearable, right? So can we just move quickly through this? I want this out, and it's just like I use the metaphor of like a flower, it's like it's a little tight little bud like this, or a fern that's curled up. You can't force it open. It's like the heart, it's closed right now. And it's just like, just get it over with, open already. We know we want our heart to be open. We want to love this politician or at least accept them or this difficult person or this person that really hurt us and bring about anger or sadness or pain, or disappointment. But what does it take for this to open up? Right. So that part of us that wants to just cut the cord or shut the door or push them out or I'm just gonna distance myself. I'm just going to move away. So as long as that energy, that charge is there, there's something we can still transform. And if we don't transform this then it will follow us. That's the karma that will continue to carry on until we work with it and let it subside in its own time. So just like that bud, we have to bring in the right conditions for that to bloom, to open up. So these qualities that we chant earlier of loving kindness, you know, that loving kindness, that care, that gentleness, that grace is what will allow, we'll know how to tend to this bud for it to, okay, it's safe. The environment is good now. You can open up, right? Like the conditions are good. You won't wither if you open. You won't die. So that bud is like, oh, okay, I can open. I can open. It's safe. It's like, and that part of us that has been so conditioned to when we feel pain or hurt to protect or to push away is so strong. And I'm sharing this because this has been a thread that's been really apparent and deeply felt amongst our morning meditation group and in other spaces I've been teaching in too. This the relational aspect of our life and how it creates all these knots inside of our heart. A lot of times we think of meditation as like addressing the mind, and yes, there is that too. But also we can practice from this place in here where we address it from this place, feel it from this place, and we know we could tell when there's something in here that's unsettled because the mind will start to tell stories. There's a restlessness, and there's judging. There's a lot of judgment, whether it's to the object, the person, or the thing itself, or just this mind that has been watered by judgment. We've been watering that judging mind. And so, in this practice, as we continue to sprinkle, and cultivate this environment of loving kindness, we're giving this an opportunity for this bud to open up like a heart, so we come back to see the goodness. You've done the best you could. You know, I know how deeply you care about this person or this matter. So we have to recognize our own goodness too. All the things that we've really tried hard to do to improve, to make things better. So coming back to give ourselves that kindness, that acknowledgement, that care. You mean well. You mean well. You've done everything you could. You've done the best you could. So recognizing that yearning, that longing we have for that relationship to be better, that connection to be better, for our country to be better, for our planet to, be in a better state. We just get in touch with that, the heart of it, the part of us that cares deeply. And by doing that, we're warming up ourselves, we're warming up the conditions for the heart to open again. Right? So acknowledging our own goodness, acknowledging our own expression of love and kindness and care. So we don't go into the stories. So we stay in that place, that heartfelt place. And anytime we touch into those emotions of like anger or sadness or frustration or fear or anxiety, we come back again to that part, that place that is longing for connection, that's longing to be understood or loved, it's longing for things to be better, that longing for betterment. We come back to that again and again and let that just like suffuse the environment inside. That care, that kindness, and let it warm us up. yeah, it feels like this when I love so much or I care so much, yet it's not going my way. So feeling the pain of that, feeling the maybe even the despair of it. And it doesn't feel good. Compassion doesn't feel good. Most of all the I mean, for me, a lot of times it feels very tender, very raw. So a lot of times when we're in pain, we want to move away from it. We want to, okay, can we just figure this out or solve it? What do I need to do next? This morning before I came here, I was sitting in front of a practitioner who got in touch with pain. And she said to me, I'm sorry, I'm going to cry right now. I said, please let yourself do that. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself be in touch with that pain of love, that pain that cares deeply, right? It's not wrong. Sometimes we make it wrong and then it's that knee jerking reaction again to, run. Oh, I gotta fix this. I gotta nip this in the bud. I gotta cut the cord. So feel it, you know. And the longer we can stay with this, there is a deepening that occurs, a deepening into the human experience. And that is the only way we access this, this energy of aliveness, that's been deadened or dampened because we haven't allowed ourselves to dip really deep into it. So by staying with the experience, by warming the area with this goodness, this kindness, this care, we're letting ourselves, you know, submerge into this pain. Anytime we go into storytelling or judgment, now we add suffering to it. Okay, so pain is in the inevitable part. That's the first arrow. For those of you who know that teaching, the first arrow, is like when someone shoots an arrow at us, that's the pain of just being human, the inevitable part of being human, right? The pain of loss, right? Aging, sickness. And the second part is that second arrow is the one that we shoot at ourselves, the suffering. So if we stay with the pain, like I said earlier, we're staying with the immediate experience of being human. As soon as we see our mind go into stories and judgment and trying to understand, I don't understand why they're doing that. I don't understand. Why can't they just? So we pause that and we come back to, oh, how does that feel inside? Where does it hurt? Where is anger in there? The part of you that is upset because they hurt you, they mistreated you, they did wrong. Right? So staying that part of us that feels that pain that comes with care and love. And when we stay there for a while, we get in touch with some really deep parts of us. I won't have time to go into all that, but there is a talk, a really, really powerful talk that I gave a couple of days ago. It's going to be uploaded onto the Wake Up Together Spotify here in a few days once I make a few edits with it. But I go into a lot more details about this. Um, but it is in this place where we get in touch with the heart and we're training the heart to open up when it closes. We're training ourselves to get in touch with our body, hardening and tensing up and learning how to soften our body. And it's through this settling of the body, of the heart, that is where we access clarity and wisdom and insight. where things become crystal clear to us, how things really are, and how to move through those relationships. So it won't be a matter of right or wrong, to stay or to go, to continue or not continue. That will be secondary to this heart release, to this charge, this energy that finally settles. And then what there is to do will just be what it is. But what we don't carry with us is this perpetual cycle of things repeating again and again and again and again, right? So that's what we cut off as we work and train the heart. Yeah, I wish we had like another 3 hours. But we need to turn the fan on or AC on or something. Um, I'd like to pause there and, make room for some folks to share if there's anything you'd like to share. And this is where it really comes to life when, you know, um, when you offer your story and what you're dealing with, because now, it makes the teachings come to life, and there's a way that can be relevant and relatable. Um, And just so you know, this is being recorded, but for those of you on Zoom, the recording's only on my face, so it doesn't show your face because it's spotlighted. So everyone in the room will be able to hear your voice. Everyone in the room will be able to see you, but for the recording, it would just be my my image. Mhm. And for those of you in the room, if you would like to share, reflect, or ask a question, there's this mic here on the table, on the glass table. If you can take that mic and just turn the switch up and put it close to you so that those on Zoom can hear you. So part of the loving kindness practice is helping us to get in touch with what the heart is clinging on to. And then inside of this whole process, at the very end, is the heart being able to release. And in that release, we experience freedom. We experience this boundless love and acceptance, this kind of equanimity that could be with however things are, even when things are not going our way. All of our expectations, you know, it it's like there's an okayness with how things are. So we're no longer needing to have that conversation or get something or have the conditions around us change, but it is this shift that occurs inside of us that now can move through the world, can be in relationship with others and with the conditions of the world now, and experience that sense of ease and happiness and well-being. And that commitment to well-being is what we continue to remember. And remembering that we are committed to well-being, we will continue to drop the stories. Anytime we want to go there, it's like, nope, I'm committed to well-being. And then come back. Right? Or the judgment, oh, I'm judging, so I'm disconnecting, and I'm committed to well-being and loving kindness. Come back. Yeah, this mind that makes up story lives in an illusion, right, of how things really are. So I was thinking, Rob, what you were saying about two people who even have the same stories, they have an illusion of each other and their relationship, right? There's like a rose colored glass or whatever that might be there. And so then, one day when they come face to face with how things really are with each other, that's you know that that's you know that's where the reality hits. And so um or that's where true connection happens, where we can really meet each other fully as we are. And the extended version of this talk is on wakeuptogether.org, which links to the Spotify, and it'll be posted in the next couple days here. Um, but I want to just thank everyone for being here, for joining in the practice, and for sharing time in community. And I want to close with a poem from my dear teacher, Zen Master Thich Khan. You are me, and I am you. Isn't it obvious that we inter are? You cultivate the flower in yourself so that I will be beautiful. I transform the garbage in myself so that you will not have to suffer. I support you. You support me. I am in this world to offer you peace. You are in this world to bring me joy. Isn't it obvious that we inter are? So, announcements. Rob, what are the announcements? Will you share on the mic? There's a few of them. There's a list now. A few things.
Okay, and I'm probably going to be ad-libbing. So one announcement is that for those that are visiting, we'd love to get your impression. So there's a little survey that you can just scan the QR code and spend 5 or 10 minutes just to give us some impressions. It would be so helpful for us because we want to serve the community and we want to be here for you. But we need to hear so that we can better understand. So that's that's on this little thing here. And I don't know if we can post that into the chat. Okay. All right. There's, you talked about Donna.
No, not yet.
Oh, do you want me to?
Please.
Okay. I give very, very short comments about Donna because if you understand what it is, then I don't want to yak on for 5 minutes. But it's really to give generously, to give from your heart, to give what you can, and it's really as simple as that. And yes, there is a QR code. I think we've just learned how to make QR codes. So I think there's a QR code for that, and a little thing here. I'm sure there's another announcement that I'm not remembering. Um, so I don't know. Does anyone else have any announcements? Scott?
Scott has an announcement. Yes.
I'm off the hook.
Thank you, Rob.
So I think, Trina, you said that on the first Saturdays
Yeah, the
that there's
first
like a social gathering in the
on the first
dining
Saturday we
room.
have social hour, but today
I'm not terribly good at following rules. So there just happens to be a pizza in the dining room, and I'm going to go turn the oven on. And there's, you all are, I mean, I could sit there and sad and lonely and eat it myself, or if you, if you want to join me, there's a Costco pizza in there. I'm going to go turn the oven on right now.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Yeah. And I said to Scott, last time when he brought a pizza when it wasn't social hour, I stood outside. We stood outside and ate it together, and he had non-alcoholic beer in a cooler. Yeah, Gavin and Aaron, wish you could join us. And yeah, and yes. Oh yeah, for those of you who are here, and you'd like to join the mailing list to get the latest about classes and all of our offerings, you can sign on that clipboard there. And yeah, this space, this container is, brought to you by donation. So folks like you donated for us to continue to be here. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. And so, you know, uh, by contributing, you're helping us to continue to carry this forward and onward. And um, the donation supports the rent and administrative fees and to pay for visiting teachers that come from afar. So I also give teachings based on just Dana, like where I'm supporting our community with the teachings. And we want to be able to offer, we have a teacher that's coming, actually, two Buddhist nuns who are coming on August 9th. Um, Coincidentally, I was on a car ride with one of the nuns when we met. Um, and so join us. Please book your calendar, mark your calendar for this. It's very amazing human beings who have devoted their whole life to this path of meditation and to these wisdom teachings. So they have a lot to offer us and bring your questions, your curiosity. And they are just a wonderful resource for us here. They're just based in Washington. So come join us. That's August 9th. And every week here we come to practice together every Saturday with rotating teachers. Um, and thank you for your practice and your presence. And I wish you all a wonderful evening and see you again on the path. Yes. Thank you. Gavin, good to see you. It's great to see you. Thank you for turning your camera on. Have a wonderful day. Be well, my friend. See you in the morning. Goodbye.